Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at something very old and something very rare. I know I say that a lot, but we are. We are looking at the 1967 release by World Distributors from their Gerry Andersons series of puzzle books, games books and activity books. And this particular one we're looking at today is from Thunderbirds, and it is Lady Penelope's Giant Games book. And this book contains games, picture gallery stories, and all the components you need to play the games. Okay, so this is the front cover, and it says Lady Penelope Giant Games book. And there's an image of Lady Penelope and Parker and the Fab One. And there's, well, kind of like a roulette wheel that's around the outside of them, and it says games, picture gallery, stories and pictures to colour, and it's got the price of 2 shillings and 6pence on the bottom right hand corner. Okay, so that's the front of the book. Let's just flip it over to the back, and what have we got on the back? We've got a Parker's Problem, which says, can you help Lady Penelope's chauffeur find his way through the maze of streets to Fab One? So can you get Fab One? Can you get him through to Fab One? Yeah, I believe I probably can, quite quickly actually. So let's come in this way. Let's go around here, over here, around there, up around there. There we are. Easy. Okay, so that is a bonus game that you get with this. Okay, so that's the front and back covers. Let's turn it back around to the front, open it up, and let's have a good look inside the book. Okay, well, I've turned it over and I've opened the front cover, and you can see the front page. But I just want to show you the size of this book, because it's a very big book. And if you look down here, we're looking at, it is 34 centimeters long. You can't actually see that, can you? But if I measure the rule, when we put the rule down, it is 34 centimeters in height, and the pages measure across at 28 centimeters. So it's a large book. Obviously you double that when you've got the 2 pages open. So anyway, this is the inside the front cover, and this is the first page, and it says Lady Penelope Giant Games book, a storybook with pictures to colour and 5 games for you to play. And you've got World Distributors Manchester Limited at the bottom there, and you've got an image of Parker and Lady Penelope along with some numbers behind them. Okay, so we've got a story, and it's the case of the Clumsy Showjumper. And there you see an image of Lady Penelope sitting in her bed, and her alarm clock is pinging. I'm not going to read the story because it's it'd take far too long to get through this if I tried to read it. But it is basically a original story that was written just for this particular book. And it is, was that 4 pages? And then we come to the first game, which is called Hood in the Wood. And it says, Hood in the Wood, any number of players, use the counters and dice or spinner. Object, to be the first player to complete the journey through the wood. Play, players take turns to roll the dice or spin the spinner and move the number of spaces indicated. If they land on a black space, they must go back to the start and begin again. A red space means danger, miss a turn. A blue space allows a player another go. Yellow sends a player back 3 spaces, and pink allows him to advance 4 spaces. A black arrow indicates a shortcut, and a red arrow means a detour. More than one player can occupy a space at a time. To finish, a player must shake or roll the exact number to get out of the wood. The winner is the first player to complete the course. Okay, so that is the game there. And the second game, it says, is Booby Trap for any number of players. Use the counters or dice or spinner from the centre page. Object, to get from Fab One to the home of Lady Penelope across ground strewn and obstacles left by the Hood's treacherous gang. To play, players start by shaking or spinning a 6. This allows the counter onto the first square. Move to the right. Any player who lands on a blue circle with white arrow travels down to the other circle. Similarly, if a player lands on a red circle with white arrow, he goes up to the outer circle. Pink squares allow players another turn. While players landing on a green square must miss a turn. Landing on a new row of squares, a player travels to the right unless the arrows direct to the last right-hand square of that row. On reaching the end of any one row, a player travels back along the same row to the left. In this way, he travels backwards and forwards along the row until he lands on a red or blue circle with arrow which sends him up or down. A player may occupy a square already covered by another player's counter. The winner is the first player to reach Lady Penelope's home. The exact number must be shaken or spun to finish the game. Any player who has passed the last arrow in the game may remain on the last square to throw a 1 to win. Okay, so that's the board for A Hood in the Wood. And that's the board for Steps to Danger. And there's a portrait of Lady Penelope. And there's the Booby Trap board game, which is the one we just read the instructions for. And if we turn the next page over, the next page is card. So let's open that up. And there we've got all the pieces that you need to play all the 5 or 6 games that are in this book. So you've got, that makes a dice, counters for Lost in the Fog. And it tells you how to make the cup there that you're going to need. You've got bombs and counters for Hood in the Wood. There's a spinner that you can make there, counters for Steps to Danger, model pieces for Booby Trap, and then you've got instruction cards for Steps to Danger. So in that centre page is all the pieces that you need to play these games, and you cut them out and play them at your will. So the centre page of this actually pulls out the centre page, and then you make your pieces and keep them together with the game. That's the one we just last read, and there's Lady Penelope's stately home at the bottom there, and obviously Lady Penelope at the top there. Okay, and there's a portrait of Parker with holding his revolver in front of Fab 1. And there's the start and finish game of Lost in the Fog. I'm sure we'll get the instructions on that shortly. That looks like a straightforward game though. And there we've got Hoodwinked. So here are the next 3 games. So Steps to Danger, any number of players. Use the counters or dice or spinner from the centre page. Also the instruction cards. Object, to reach Parker first. Players take turns throwing the dice or spinning the spinner to climb up the steps to Parker's rescue. Each player must shake a 6 to start. A player landing on a red or blue square must take a card from the red or blue cards cut from the centre pages. These cards should be placed in 2 piles face downwards on the table. When a card has been taken, the player should read out the instructions and comply with them. Then replace the card at the bottom of the pile. More than one player may be on a square at any one time. If a player lands on one of the shortcuts, he may proceed across to the next line. Should he miss this shortcut and have to go around the loop and then land on the top of this shortcut, he must slide down to the lower level. On reaching the top, he must throw the exact number to get Parker released. The winner is the first player to reach Parker. And then we got Lost in the Fog, 2, 3 or 4 players. Use the counters and dice from the centre page. Object, to find your way from the gates of Lady Penelope's home to the entrance hall. Play. Players should spin the spinner to see who starts their journey first. Highest number wins. Starting his journey, a player may proceed either across or down, but every time he comes to a bush, he must change direction. If a player lands on another player's square or bush, the player first on the spot must go back to the last bush he passed, and at this next turn, take a different direction. The winner is the first player to reach and shake the exact number to gain admittance to the hall. Hoodwinked, any number of players. First, cut the bombs from the centre page. Object, to place the bombs in the hood's hands. Play. When his turn comes to play, each player should have his eyes closed or blindfolded. Thus handicapped, he must first turn round in a circle and then try to put the bombs into the hood's hands. The game is placed in the centre of the table. The player with the best aim across the highest scores the highest. Players should have 5 or 6 tries, each keeping check to the scores. The winner is the one with the highest score. Okay, there we go. That is the games, and the last page, it brings us to the end of the story that was at the front. So the story continues on these last few pages. There's a few pictures there you can colour if you so wish, and that brings us to the close of the story. And I'll just read the last paragraph. 3 hours later, Lady Penelope was reclining happily in the rear seat of Fab 1, being driven majestically down the main freeway to Naples. "Oh, well," she sighed, "I suppose that's that. Our dear friend, the Hook, won't be troubling us for a long, long time to come." "No, indeed, my lady. A very satisfactory cop, if I may say so." "Perhaps, Parker, but there is one little thing I regret. If I really tried, I could have won that jumping event. I'm sure of it." And that brings us to the end of this wonderful book. So there we are. Lady Penelope's Giant Games book. So how well did these do? Well, like any of these activity books from the 60s and to some extent the 70s, and even going back further back into the 50s, they were extremely popular and very much wanted by all the kids. They're all based on their favourite television programmes at the time, and they had loads of activities in them. This particular one we're looking at was games, but there's lots of other ones, Dr. Dots, drawings, colourings, and so on. They were big things because it was really the only way that you would really keep your favourite television programmes fresh in your minds, so that you could continue to do things with them when they're not being shown on television. Because back in the day when all this was out, you only had the terrestrial TV. There was no satellite, no DVDs, no videos, nothing. So you had to watch your programs when they were broadcast on the television channels. So, and if you missed them, then you had to wait until the reruns, if the reruns ever actually come, or sometimes you had to wait a few years for the reruns to be run. But rerun, they finally did they did rerun them eventually, but you may have had to wait a long time. Of course, nowadays everything's available on demand, so if you want to watch something, you just click onto it, stream it, or download it, whatever you want to do, and you can watch whatever you like whenever you like. But it was a very different time back in the 1960s, and none of that was available. But these activity books were, and most of them were released late in the year to be in the kids' Christmas stockings or their Christmas sacks. So they had activity books to use or open and play with on Christmas morning or after Christmas. So yes, they done very well. They were mass produced and lots of them were sold. However, we're now talking 57 years on. So was it 57 years? 1967. Yeah, it is exactly 57 years since this particular one came out. Crikey, I can't believe how quickly that time's gone. But trying to find these books now in any condition is very, very difficult. They hardly ever come up on the platforms, and if they do, they're usually used, or they've been coloured, or they've been filled in, or the in this case the components have been cut out and missing, and it's just the games left. So finding them in any condition is an achievement. Finding them in this condition, which is an unused, almost mint condition. There's a few bits of wear along the edges of a book, but after 57 years, of a book, what do you expect? There's going to be some defects with the book after that amount of time. And it's just a little bit of wear along the edges. Other than that, the book is in mint condition. So finding them like this is almost impossible. But as usual, we at Midas Touch have managed to find one or two, and they're currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to quite simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Gerry Anderson items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that you won't want to miss this, because we literally got thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've then been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. And believe me when I say we have got some amazing stuff coming through soon. So stay tuned, keep watching, because you will not be disappointed. There is some absolutely awesome stuff coming up. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed a review of this book. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next time.